So, my lathe doesn't seem to be getting oil coming through the sight glass here. If I power up the lathe, this is the first time it started, and usually there'd be something coming through there, but it's not. So I need to look at why there's nothing coming through. I've had the lid off, I know oil's getting up to the top, so it's not the pump. There is oil in the system. This little glass has got the hump. Right above the sight glass there's a little rodding point. Now it's probably painted over, this one was. And it's just a little Allen key to take out that grub screw, and then you can rod it out. There's a piece of fine wire there. I'm not forcing that, just let it, there you go. I had hoped there was a bit of a globule of muck or something in there. No such luck. The skinny wire there measures about 0.35 diameter there, inches. Okay, so I've got a spare unit which I harvested off another lathe. The rodding hole here is all blocked up, just like everybody's. I'm going to lift the lid and see if I can work out which way the oil goes before I take mine to pieces. Right, we might be in luck here. There's a pipe coming off this manifold going into the round housing of the sight glass, and I'm pretty sure that's not connected properly. I thought I might be taking this out and lifting the manifold off, and I might do that anyway, just to see. But let's see if we can do a fix first, eh? Right, well, good news, eh? This here, where my little pointer's pointing out of focus, that's the sight glass window from the back, and right at the tippy top of it there's a hole where that blue pipe should go to and doesn't. They're not very flexible pipes, so I'm just going to loosen this off. Right, so I'm going to unscrew this, make sure I don't drop it down the guts, poke the pipe in, try it. There's your little pipe. I'm going to poke him back in. I'm not doing it on camera because if I drop that, which I might do anyway, I'm in trouble. It is actually quite fiddly, so I've just put a rag to act as a safety net for me here. So we've ragged it. I'm going to keep trying. We had it in, but it wasn't sitting properly. Starting to fight me pretty bad now, so I've feathered the end with a pencil sharpener and checked it blows through. So it blows through all right. Feathered the end. Come on. Right, so of course it's not a standard socket size. I've just nudged this round. How do I know it's not a standard socket size? The blooming socket set didn't have it. Okay. So this is some odd imperial spanner. The pipe was a little short. I've spun the little distribution point around, and I'm going to nip it up now. So I need another spanner on the other bit to stop it spinning back. All right, obviously I'm a short of a hand here. I've got you handheld, but there's my setup. I'm cranking with this right hand, holding the manifold down the bottom with the left. So I've just wedged that pipe in place with a long screwdriver. I'm going to take some heat, put some heat right on the bend, because it is just a little short. Possibly when it was made, they put a long pipe in and then bent it and cut it with it fitted, because it's really tricky trying to get up underneath there with a short piece of pipe. That's going to be the little blow torch, not the biggest one in the world, little soldering torch with a rosebud on the end. If worst comes to the worst and I mess it up, I'll take the pipe off to the unit. Yeah, that wasn't much heat, and that's gadongered it. It might still be patent. We'll give it a go, see what happens. Oh, I took this one off just to make space. All right, we'll fire up the 3-phase. That's it there with that's the spare fan from the old toilet there. So the fan goes on, giving a good downdraft. This motor was getting pretty toasty, even though it's got a fan cable on it. We are not in the biggest shed in the world. In fact, when you put big machines in, and that is a biggish machine, there is not much room to move. Okay, plugged in, and off we go. Got some tipping already. Right, fantastic. It's never done it that well before. It's never been in properly. Right, well, that's going a little bit too much. So what I'll do is I'll adjust on this regulating screw. Okay, so just take this little cover screw out the top, and then adjust the rating inside, and that's adjusted with a fine screwdriver. That's fully closed down. I'm going to give it half a turn. So half a turn, we'll try it. Whoa! Let's go quarter of a turn. On the old machine there was a washer there, little fibre washer, and didn't have my fibre washer, so I'm going to put the fibre washer on, and we're going to choke it down to a quarter of a turn. Got the rag out. I'll probably choke it down a little more than that, because I want the oil to be coming across the manifold, not all going down here. Right, wonderful. All my oilers are oiling. Absolutely smashing. The eyesight's eyesighting better than it ever has, so that's great. When we put the top plate on, we have to make sure there's a good seal in that centre section. That's your belt drive, so you don't want oil sluicing down to the guts of the machine. We'll have a little look around the back while we're here. Just show you what the back looks like. This is the low volt light unit mounted on 6mm aluminium plate with a stiffener. We've adapted the plate to the curve of the headstock there, just to stop too much tut coming around the back, and all of that is held on deep down on a couple of heavy duty bolts which go into the groove that the taper turn runs on. This is the underside of the headstock cover. That's where the machine screw comes through, which holds the readout mounting. So we've got the cover back on, and now you can see up underneath the DRO mount table. I've rounded that off to fit really pretty good. It doesn't want to rotate because it's locked. This is the front side of the aluminium plates. It's just held down with machine screws. You can see it fits the headstock, and I've used it to mount the safety guard as well. So round the back of the lathe is a sort of junk area. Well, it's where I keep all these spare parts. They're on wheels, but as a splash guard, stop the chips going down. This is just a piece of 3-ply with a bit of king span on the back. Rest up on the top and make a nice little catch-all. This is the top of the spare unit, oil feed from the sump, and it looks like there's some soft goo here that I'll hoik out. I'm bedded in some non-setting putty goo and some cap head screws. Okay, those were Tighty McTight, Mr. Boatface. What they've done is been very careful. They don't want oil getting underneath this fitting and getting on the drive belt. So Tighty Tight McBoatface tight. Okay, so that's a decent crowbar wedged under the end. There you go, that's got it. There it is. And the little boy we were playing with was that one, and he goes in there. So in the interest of science, did the blowtorch trick. It worked better that time, didn't it? I'm going to make a little pump. and we'll blow some oil through that headstock, see where it goes to. Okay, so a bit of cutting oil, we'll squirt it through. Right, so take 2 in the interest of science. Yeah. So that is coming out the bottom when I give it a good old squeeze. Oh, it's not coming out the side though. Woohoo! So there you have it. That's the feed for the eyeglass. Goes through the eyeglass, out the bottom. No idea what that hole is. And that's the underside cap head hole that's on the top. Right. Oh, that's another look at the manifold. He wants to sit like that. Potentially, if that got blocked, you could strip it, probably ultrasonic bath it and put it back together. That's tight going back in. What I've done, I've just introduced it, caught up the cap screws, and I'm just persuading it a little bit. Taking it up a bit more persuasion, and just bed it in. That is tight. I've not put the pipes back in deliberately, I don't need to, and I'll spray all of this off with duck oil just so it doesn't get any flash rust or anything on it. Right, absolute result today, and under the title of What's Down the Back of Your Lathe, most of another lathe is the answer there. We are all done. The reality is, under normal circumstances, there's room to move, keep the place tidy, I'm good to go. Space round the back really helps for service, but that's a cracking result today. Shed Guy says thanks for watching, over and out.